Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. Seems like there's something flying around behind me, but maybe that's just the incense smoke. I'm Jason, and I'm here at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas, which you can come by and see us at 221 East Main Street if you're in the neighborhood outside of Houston, or you can visit the website at newdimensionscrystals.com. Let's jump right into the Star Report for this week, starting with our sun. The sun has been active over the last day, 24 hours or so. It has had 4 M class, which is sort of medium range solar flares. And solar flares sometimes do not produce CMEs, and these did not. So nothing is hurling towards Earth as we speak. So there shouldn't be any impactors from that. But of course, when we have solar flares, that electromagnetic connection between us and the sun sort of ramps up or gets a charge through it. So there should have been some upticks in sort of, I don't want to call it anxiety, but heart palpitations, things in the upper chest area where you would sort of feel that um, area of the heart sort of raising in vibration, maybe even patterns or duration, not duration, frequency. There we go. And so that is also going to cause what's happening right now. Sometimes that'll cause a little bit of brain fog, where there's a sort of disconnect or a misfire in when you're thinking. So you sort of lose your train of thought in the middle of talking when we have lots of solar flares. And then anybody who happens to be on any kind of mental spectrum, right? Whether that's chronic depression, you might have a depressive episode, or bipolar disorder, is that the way they call it these days? You know, one mood swing to the other, and then any kind of autoimmune diseases are sometimes triggered by solar flaring. And so you might have flare ups of stuff like that. So just sort of pay attention. The sun's been super active. There are more active regions coming in and developing on the Earth facing part of the sun. So pay attention to that. When we get the flarings and stuff like that, if you're in the pathway of storms, those storms can sometimes be increased because of the electromagnetic flow into the Earth's atmosphere, which will charge the storms, which are being moved by high and low pressures. So pay attention if you're in the pathway of any storms to see the intensity of those perhaps grow. Leads us into Wednesday, into the regular star report. What's happening in the cosmos? What's happening up there? What's aligning for us? What's aligning in our favor? We are in, for the entire month of September, we are in a cosmic kite, right? And that's usually a triangle or sometimes 4 planets. I believe it's just 3, but you can double check me. Mars, Uranus, and Jupiter in a cosmic kite. And so that sort of is used as an uplifting energy, right? And so the energy of Mars, Uranus, and Jupiter. Let's see, Mars, is about active, masculine energy. Uranus is really about revelation, and Jupiter is about structure and abundance. So sort of pay attention to that, as that energy is going to be here all month, right? So the entire month of September, that cosmic kite is going to be here. We are currently in planets of retrograde, all 7 of them. We had a switch. Remember last week we went from Venus being in retrograde to Jupiter being in retrograde. So Venus is now direct, which I'll get into in a second. And so those retrograde planets are Pluto, right? And so Pluto is about understanding and assimilating the hidden parts of your power, right? And so things that you either don't use as a power or think people don't want to understand about you as a power or a strength, or how you get things done. Releasing old hurts, clearing out and healing old emotional wounds and triggers is what's going to happen with Pluto. Saturn in retrograde, really about creating an authentic occupation, right? So if you've been sort of working on revamping your business or revamping yourself, or maybe even looking for another job if you're employed and not self-employed, or maybe even looking for an entire entrepreneurial sort of idea or business, that's sort of really working its way, right? And so Saturn is in retrograde until November 3rd, right? So the whole month you sort of have that planning or that desire to create something new, and that's why you might be sort of planning on something just entirely new. Neptune is also in retrograde. That is going to be about connecting with your inner spiritual path, right? What's the point of you being on the planet? Why are you here? What kind of spiritual connections have sort of been prevalent or dominant throughout your life, and sort of looking at those, rediscovering maybe if you're into past life stuff, but a spiritual strength that you haven't used or is discovered or is being dormant. And this is really sort of not asking you to leave the day-to-day path, but asking you to sort of put a spiritual dynamic to why you're doing things and how you get things done. And a lot of times that's going to be sort of like an upgrade, a intention sort of laid, that when you want to have something accomplished, it's not just for that thing to be accomplished, but for a greater purpose, whether that's for you to have more freedom to then help humanity more, or whether that's for you to do something in your current career that actually helps you with your what's the word, your career making a difference, right? And so rather than it sort of being just regular, those that you regularly serve get served, but expanding its efficacy. That's a good word. Also, Venus just went direct. So Chiron is about recognizing and rethinking old patterns. Usually this is sort of childhood stuff, right? Like what kind of patterns, what kind of, if you're into business and finance, what kind of blueprint, financial blueprint did you get from your parents, about success or not success, saving money or having money, being rich, being poor, all those kinds of energies could be sort of coming up. Mercury's in retrograde, talking about communications, technologies, right? So technologies might be slow. Uranus in retrograde, really about being independent, trusting your own abilities, right? So this is, I don't want to say self-confidence, but this is really self-reliance. You have enough already within inside of you with all these other things that are sort of working to get things done, right? You don't necessarily need a community or an affirmation from outside of yourself. You can just start to proceed. And then, of course, when you work with that energy, things will come around and work with you. And then Jupiter, planning career moves, life purpose, home-based or self-employment could be a thing, right? So if you're sort of not appreciating the workplace, or the workplace is not appreciating you, learning how to make money online, especially if there is an arc of lockdowns that are happening in the fall, right? Then having a home-based or an online-based business or a side business might be something to start to think about as Jupiter goes into retrograde. And I think Jupiter is going to be in retrograde till the end of December, right? So sort of that cosmic time is really lining up, as it were. That's what's happening. Venus, like I said, went direct yesterday, I believe, as Jupiter went retrograde. And so the energy of Venus is really this: I'm worthy of love, affection. I'm a divine eternal soul that's never going to die, right? And this cosmic kite sort of giving you that ability to sort of take decisive action. So if you've been waiting for all these things to settle down or you to get everything clear, it's clear enough. Start to do stuff. That's what we want to tell you right now. Thursday, moon's halfway to new. So moon becoming halfway to new, right? We're really starting to end that energy of August, where we had the 2 super full moons and the super or the micro new moon, right? So all of that energy of what happened to us in August is starting to wane, right? And we're really having to be decisive, right? It should be, I don't say clarity, but it should be a very clear, more clear, that's better, a more clear understanding of what you learned about yourself in August and sort of how to move into the future, right? And so sometimes that can also deal with ego, right? So a lot of times when we're going through transitions, we feel like we're losing a sense of self, and we're like, oh, but I'm so this or I'm so that, and I don't want to change. Or you've worked so hard to be what you are, and the resistance from outside has sort of solidified what you think you are rather than allowing you to change. So that kind of energy should sort of wind down, or should become evident of, hey, you can let some of those things go and become and make choices to be this new person on Thursday. Friday, nothing much is happening. Same energies are going to be flowing through all the retrogrades. Saturday, 9-9. 9 is really the number of completion, and sort of the double 9 is really an ending, right? We're sort of ending, where we have this window until we hit the fall equinox at the end of the month of completing the first part of the year, right? The 9 months, right? And so if you want to think about January to September, 9 months is really the time of gestation, right? What have you been growing inside of you? What have you been growing as a self? What are you changing into this energy on Saturdays, this day of completion, right? A day of birth, right? So what are you going to do um, to sort of move on, move forward? And of course, all those things are different, right? You might have to get your feet under you. Who is this new person? How do people in your sphere, in your uh, way of living and being, how are they affected? Do you care? Can you move forward with or without them, right? So this is really being the new self, right? And sometimes this is delicate, right? You're sort of testing that out. You're getting your legs underneath you. You're sort of testing out what's hot, what's cold, what's a pathway, what's not pathway. So that's the energy of Saturday. It's a good thing it's happening on the weekend. So you can sort of take Saturday and Sunday to work on that. And then Monday we get 9/11, September 11th, as it were. And so 9/11 as a number, a numerological understanding, is really what we associate with calling for help or needing assistance, right? Sometimes it's ooh, wow, that really went. Where did I go? There I am. Went all blurry. Hello, 9/11. So asking for assistance, Mercury retrograde. Asking for assistance is the energy of Monday, right? What do you need help with, right? And that could be something that you do in meditation. That could be this birth of the new you. You can ask for assistance to be that. This could be sort of asking for people to give you a little space, people to give you a little assistance, all those kinds of things involved with help, right? If it's in meditation, maybe you're asking your spirit guides, your guardian angel. Maybe you've got some loved ones that are on the other side. You're asking them for assistance or understanding. That's the Monday energy. Sometimes when you need help or you ask for help or you get engaged by something that's beyond yourself, it sort of triggers a little bit of anxiety. So pay attention that that's not a thing or isn't too big of a thing for you. And then Tuesday is really the day to sort of follow the guidance you get from Monday, right? And that could be a friend, tells you some stuff. That could be a business partner tells you some stuff. That could be you had a really cool dream, right? That you're not so sure that was that real, was that whatever, but that's the time to sort of act, and you'll be totally fine. These are all things where the cosmos or the structure, or if you believe we're in a simulation, this is where all of the dials of the computer and reality are sort of moving towards where you can make these choices, right? So you shouldn't really have a whole lot of fear, right? You should be able to act with confidence in all this stuff. It's just when new things change, you really sort of have that higher chest anxiety, right? And if the sun stays active, it's going to feel like, oh no, I'm doing new things. Oh no, my body's telling me not to do this. But really, it's your body raising your energy level to the level where it needs to be so that you can do these actions and move forward in the energy and sort of float through on the waves of this change. What's happening for the rest of September? A couple dates to pay attention to. September the 15th is the new moon. New moons are about restarts and beginnings. 9/16, Mercury goes direct, right? So all of these things that are sort of giving you hindrances in communication, contracts, all these old things that sort of come up about communication. Usually a lot of people get a lot of old relationships sort of pop up in this Mercury retrograde. Like, oh, maybe this is a thing, right? No, it's just Mercury retrograde making you revisit it, making you either see the good things about it or remember the good things about it, but also realizing that the bad things about it were also true. And so you should just sort of revisit like, hey, that wasn't as bad as I thought, but it's also in the past. So that should all be ending on the 16th. And then on the 18th, Neptune is going to be closest to the Earth all year, right? And let's see, I just have Neptune called up over here. I did, didn't I? Neptune, where did you go? Yeah, Neptune, right? And so walk your spiritual path, raising your cosmic consciousness kind of energy on the 18th. And then the 22nd, I mentioned this earlier in the report, the 22nd is the fall equinox, right? So we're ending that 9 months of completion and moving into the fall equinox, right? So we're planting the new self. We are not hibernating. We're sort of putting the old self to rest from becoming this new person, and we're just sort of slowing down and allowing that person to get their legs under them, right? So when we go into the winter season, especially here in the northern hemisphere, especially in Texas, we're ready to get out of regular or 100-degree weather and get into something cooler. And so that's the 22nd of this month. Of course, if you're having difficulty, I'm always here at the shop and available to contact and come by and book a session. The easiest way to move through stuff like this is breathing. Breath precedes attitude and emotion, right? You can change your breath. If you start to breathe like you're out of breath or you're tired, your body will get tired and your emotions will feel sleepy. If you breathe like you have plenty of energy, then your body will have plenty of energy. So, individual one-on-one breath sessions are available at newdimensionscrystals.com. Of course, if you're just all out of whack and have something that won't leave the body, that won't leave your energy field, we have stuff for that, energy sessions for that too, usually a cleanse if you want to look at that online at newdimensionscrystals.com. And then, of course, we have crystals incense that's burning off to the side here, and all kinds of other tools that you could use for yourself, either in meditation to set up a sacred space where you sort of take the daily time to affirm, to manifest, to decide what you are, right? Set your day, right? Whether that's through exercise, meditation, yoga, other kinds of things. I can also give you some coaching on that if you stop by the shop or during one of your sessions that you book online at newdimensionscrystals.com. I thank you all for joining me this week. It is been a blessing. So many blessings back to you.